They are hungry, and they are here. Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and welcome back to Let's Play Dead Space 3. This is episode 23, and it should be the last episode of the whole game. Because last time we had a fake fight with Carver, and then we had an actual fight with the leader of the Unitology cultists on the ship, where the Brethren Moons revealed that they were just kind of fucking with us, and they already knew where Earth was. They were just keeping us busy here, with the cultists and everything, and the infighting, so that they could get to Earth without any warning, because we were the only two people who knew that they were coming. So now we're trying to start up the ship so that we can get to Earth and, you know, warn them of what's on the way. But first we have to start up this reactor. Now he says there's an adapter over on the left. Also, it checkpointed before we fought Carver. That was the last place it saved. So I had to do all that again. Not surprising, though. I just had to come to accept that the checkpoints are garbage in this game. I really wish they did that thing that some games do where it tells you the last time it saved, because it's helpful for games with shitty checkpoints.
Okay, let's see what happens when we fire it up.
I'm gonna guess it doesn't work.
Maintenance mode enabled. Opening containment shield. Warning. Reactor is active. Harmful radioactivity detected. Please maintain a safe distance from the core.
Now, what would you consider a safe distance?
Isaac, the ship is an antique. Look, we're gonna need at least twice as much power to activate the Shockpoint drive.
If I can find some fuel orbs, I should be able to throw them directly into the core and force a power surge.
Is that safe?
No.
No, of course not. I have no idea what that will do. This technology is all theoretical to me because they stopped using it before I went to college. Alright, so this is a weird sort of puzzle.
Warning. Reactor overload. Venting initiated.
Isaac, I saw the energy level spike, but they're draining again.
Shit! The heat sinks are venting the core.
Guess I'm gonna have to blow those up.
Shooting them to force the reactor to overload.
They taught me that in university. Sometimes, if you need more power, you just need to blow up the fucking cooling vents.
Venting complete. Reactor output nominal.
Gee, I hope that the ship doesn't just go up in a nuclear fireball and we never get to reach Earth. There's just, like, necromorph things shooting at me, and I'm just ignoring them, because they seem very ineffectual.
Warning. Reactor overload. Venting initiated. Interrupted. Warning. Reactor capacity critical.
I mean, that's probably bad. We do actually need the ship to reach Earth, and not just violently explode. But maybe the energy of it exploding will be enough to power the Shockpoint for the, like, 10 seconds it needs to get there. They haven't actually ever really said how fast the FTL is in this series.
Reactor overload. Venting initiated.
Where does it keep getting more of these cylinders? I guess it's not actually exploding, and they just go back in if you shoot them enough. Alright, we gotta ignore the coruscating beams of energy coming out of the reactor.
Interrupted. Warning. Reactor capacity critical.
Alright, gotta shove one more in there. I mean, even if the ship gets breached by this, it's not like it's gonna matter that much, right? We got a suit. We can breathe in vacuum.
Warning. Reactor overload. Venting initiated.
get across the streams. There we go.
Reactor overload. Deadly radiation levels detected. All hands
Hey, we got
abandon ship.
power!
But it's
All
venting
hands
radiation
abandon
all over
ship.
the place. We've got to activate the drive before it blows.
Well, get your ass up here before you fry!
I'm trying.
Reactor overload. Reactor overload.
All right, time to go.
Radiation levels detected. All hands abandon ship. All hands abandon ship.
Nope, we're locked in.
Reactor overload. Reactor overload. Deadly radiation levels detected. All hands abandon ship. All hands abandon ship.
I like how the sign is now just in marker language.
Reactor overload. Reactor
I'm gonna
overload.
use an exhaust tube.
Deadly
do what?
radiation levels detected. Exhaust all hands abandon ship. Stand by to discharge. Abandon ship.
Okay, we're just gonna get fired out into space. No big deal.
Discharging.
Okay, not sure where those are coming from, but the ship is
I'm almost
definitely
there.
not
Hurry
doing
up,
good.
This thing's shaking apart.
Okay. Yep. Not exactly sure how you get crushed in zero gravity.
Exhaust port 12.
Like, yeah, you would
Stand by to discharge.
absorb the force of the impact somewhat, but you wouldn't just like get splattered, I don't think. Not that speed. But yeah, I clearly picked the wrong side of the screen to be on.
Get that engine warmed up. I'm almost there.
Hurry up, this thing's shaking apart.
It's definitely less dramatic with no sound. Also, this is like the only time we haven't had any sound in zero gravity. Fucking mines, get out of here. I like that the ship has an air vent that goes straight outside into the vacuum.
If you don't get up here quick, we're going home in a million pieces.
Almost there.
I definitely read that as where is Hole.
All hands abandon ship. Reactor overload. All hands abandon ship.
Want to make sure I don't start heading the wrong way.
Reactor overload. All hands abandon ship.
Maybe leave that helmet on, Isaac. The ship is exploding.
Abandon ship.
Let's go! Let's go! We may just blow up. We may just get saved by aliens again. Just hit the damn button.
It would extra suck to blow up while you're in transition.
Carver. Psst, hey, Carver. We're almost there.
Oh, we made it?
Yeah.
Please.
De-shocking to Earth space in 3,
Well, that didn't take very long,
1.
considering we were at the edge of known human space.
Earth Orbital Control, this is Isaac Clarke aboard the CMS Terra Nova requesting clearance, over.
The ship should still be exploding, though.
Are you sure you got the right channel? This is over 200 years old.
Like, just because we made the jump doesn't mean it shouldn't be falling apart.
Earth Gov Command. This is Sergeant John Carver. Do you read me? Is anyone there?
Hey, Isaac, is the Earth supposed to have, like, 8 moons?
United Mining Traffic Flow, do you copy? Lunar Flight Control, this is CMS Terra Nova. Does anyone read us out here?
So yeah, that's the actual full ending to Dead Space 3. The Brethren moons awaken, and they travel to Earth and consume everybody. Now, that was going to lead into Dead Space 4. They had a plan for where they were going to go from that, where essentially you'd be, like, traveling to, remaining groups of humanity out in space and trying to, I guess, band them together against the necromorphs. And maybe finding some way to destroy a moon that doesn't require an ancient alien machine that can only be used once. But yeah, that was the big spoiler that I knew going into this whole LP, was that Earth is destroyed by the Brethren moons at the end. It's possible that Isaac dies here too, because I think that Dead Space 4 was intended to have Ellie traveling to these various, spaceships and distant human colonies to try to warn them and get there before the Brethren moons find out where the rest of the humans are. Because again, they may have consumed Earth, which is the biggest concentration, but this is a spacefaring future where humanity has spread out among the stars. I just, like I said before, don't really know if there is any large colonies in the Dead Space universe. It's not like I've dug into every bit of expanded lore, I've only read one of the Dead Space novels, and it was the prologue about Michael Altman, and how he actually wasn't a Unitologist and was used as a martyr by them. That one was pretty good. It was nice to see kind of the origin of the black marker that all the other markers were based off of. But I've never looked into, kind of the extra stuff, because a lot of it looked pretty cheap, pretty lazy, just EA trying to make a quick buck. I mentioned before that I think both of the Dead Space movies, the, animated movies, looked like hot shit. They used real cheap animation for that. And again, because they didn't want to pay for actual good thing, but they wanted to make money off of a multimedia franchise. But yeah, that's the end of the DLC. It was an okay DLC. Some of it definitely felt very kind of extra, especially the stuff on the Terra Nova, which kind of just kept going for a while. But I liked where they ended the story. It's like, yeah, you killed one of the Brethren moons, but it wasn't the only one, and it was the youngest one, so really it's like we killed their younger brother and they came and got revenge by eating our entire species. Anyway, thank you for joining me for the Dead Space 3 LP. I had fun doing it. I think I probably would have enjoyed the game less if I hadn't taken, multiple months to play through it. I think it would have got more repetitive if I wasn't recording it this way. But I don't feel like I really got any negatives from recording it this way. I didn't forget what was going on. I could always just refer back to the last episode to be like, okay, yeah, that's what we're doing right now. And I liked some of what it did. I just think it could have been... They could have shaved off a few hours here and there. I think the side mission stuff was mostly a waste of time. That was just there to feed that crafting system. There was one or two good ones that had some interesting stuff going on, the one guy who set up all those traps and everything. That one was kind of cool. But then there were some of them were just like, oh my god, would it just end? I don't want to do this anymore. There's nothing interesting going on here. Thankfully, at least we got an okay one at the end with the 0G. But yeah, I'm glad this DLC also wasn't super long, because it already felt like it was just kind of retreading ground for the most part. I actually think that reactor thing was kind of cool, but that seems like something that should have happened way sooner in the game, instead of basically being like a final boss fight. I mean, really, the boss fight of the DLC was the fight against the cultist guy, who never got a name. He was just some guy. He was just one of the Unitologists. It's also really funny that Danik was so irrelevant at the end. It's fitting. Danik was never really an important character in this game. He was just kind of there, kind of doing something, trying to stop us, I guess, and then it just rock falls on him. He didn't even come back as a necromorph in the DLC. Unlike, I can't even remember his name now. The jealous boyfriend of Ellie. I was kind of expecting something from Ellie at the end of this. I was gonna say she gets there after us, but she would have got there first, because she left a while ago. And as we saw, it doesn't take very long to get back to Earth. So she's probably in space somewhere around Earth, and then she's like, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Also, I guess the Brethren moons just have, like, faster-than-light travel built into their fleshy rock mass, because how else did they get here from even further out in space than we were as just big floating rocks? I'm just picturing it with, like, using its tentacles as, like, big, you know, propulsion, just waving them all behind it as it flies through space. So yeah, ultimately, I'm glad I did this LP. I'm glad I didn't go like, Dead Space 3 is bad, everybody said it's bad, so I shouldn't even give it a chance. It was okay, you know. It was kind of a weak way to end the series, gameplay-wise, but it was a decent kind of story wrap-up. People said the story was shit, but I don't know. Like, Dead Space was never, like, some big story-driven series, really. The first game almost doesn't have a story for half of it. Most of the time, it's just Isaac wandering around trying to fix the ship before it falls apart, and then looking for his girlfriend, who is dead, and he knows she's dead. Spoiler, but fucking... who the fuck is watching this Dead Space 3 LP without having seen the first game? And is worried about spoilers, like... I always feel like I have to apologize for spoiling things, because the internet has kind of ingrained that mentality, even when it doesn't really make sense to do so. I really wish these credits would end. I feel like it's just showing the credits for the entire game again, even though we just did the DLC. I will be playing the Dead Space remake, assuming I can run it. I'm running into that problem now where with every game I have to kind of leave the caveat in that I might not be able to run it, because until I can get a new GPU, I'm going to start running into problems with especially AAA games. So we'll see what the system requirements are when that's closer to release next month, but I would like to do an LP of that game on launch and kind of compare it. I do kind of regret now that Dead Space was one of the earliest LPs I did, because it is very crusty quality, and I remember back when I was doing that LP originally, people stopped watching it like halfway through, and I completely kind of shifted my mood towards the game, and I was a lot more kind of like loose and jokey halfway through, because I was like, no one's watching this anyway, I don't have to take it that seriously. But I had fun with that LP back in the day. I'm doing the death reel. Also, since I mentioned it in a couple of these episodes that, you know, I would be doing a Callisto Protocol LP, and that probably was running alongside this one by the time you saw this, but then Callisto Protocol came out, and it was apparently a bit of a disaster on PC. There was also people who just don't like the combat, because they went with a weird, like, almost a beat-em-up style combat, where you're having, like, duels with individual enemies, and the camera locks you in, and you dodge and weave and smack them with your stun stick, but it runs like hot trash on PC at launch. They put out a patch, and I don't know if that completely fixed it, but that game I should have been able to run. Like, the system requirements were pretty low for it, but then apparently nobody can run it decently, even with good hardware. So I'll probably play through that game at some point, but I'm not gonna... It's not worth $80 now, and I can't really afford it anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. But even if it turns out that it is a game that I will enjoy, the fact that they released it in that state means that it doesn't really deserve full price. And it did this weird thing where not only was the reviews were embargoed up to release day because they knew it had problems, but also, unlike every other fucking AAA game, none of the key resellers got keys for the game ahead of launch. You know, like, I'm not talking about like the gray market key resellers that are using potentially stolen credit cards to buy keys. I'm talking about like GMG and stuff that officially gets these keys from the publishers. None of them had keys for it, no discounts, no nothing. And that itself is a bit of a red flag. That means they wanted to squeeze as much money out of it as they could at launch, with no discounts or anything, because they knew that people might not buy it after that. At least the publisher. Obviously the developers, you know, they think that it's a big deal game or whatever, but considering that Sheffield? I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that. One of the main Dead Space guys who went on to found the company that made Callisto Protocol, he was very pro-crunch. He was like, yeah, this is gaming. We're crunching 15 hours here in the studio. And as the CEO, he's definitely not the one doing that crunch. So that was also a bit of a red flag. When the guy who's in charge is like, yeah, you know, if you're passionate about games, then you're going to crunch and you're not going to have a real life when you're working on a video game. Holy shit, these credits are still going. I'm like kind of spitballing here, hoping that we'll see maybe a little tiny something at the end, but fucking hell. AAA games have a lot of people that work on them, huh? But we're at the thank yous now, so we should be about at the end. I can't imagine there's like more than 5 people still watching this as I'm just yakking away through the credits. I mean, maybe you have it open in another tab. You're just listening to this and the butt rock going along with it. But I was really hoping that Callisto would be good, and it's a shame that it sounds like it's just kind of average at best. I want to say that maybe the Dead Space remake will be good, but who knows? If they showed more stuff, then maybe it would look good, and then it would come out and still be trash. At the very least, though, I think the Dead Space remake should run on launch. Like, they have EA backing them, so EA does not really care about their reputation, but they do care about making money, above all. Alright, that's it, nothing. We get nothing. I mean, that was a pretty conclusive ending, right? We don't know if Carver and Isaac died, but they're pretty fucked. They're on an exploding spaceship, and there's a Brethren moon right in front of them. And we don't have a way to kill them anymore. So, things are looking grim. It's a grim ending, but it is an appropriate ending for the series. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun. I had some fun. And, I guess I'll see you back here for Dead Space when that comes out. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Until then, you folks all take care.